Thank you very much, sir. My salutations to Amitabh Ghosh. It's a great opportunity for me to be face to face and to hear him. I wanted to be the first to ask this question because this is a standard opening gambit in any interaction with an Indian writer in English. This is, of course, about the partiality of city-centric writers of India towards English language. Now, this is a question which has refused to die, and every time it is killed or burned, it rises phoenix-like from its ashes. Now, the question has been revived for me in all its urgency, thanks to an article that Arvind Adiga has recently written in the Independent newspaper. I read an Oriya translation beautifully done in Sambad on 19 July 2009. And in this article, he talks about his exposure to English language, his intimacy with English language. He has grown up with English right from his boyhood until his adult years. Kannada had no place in that. He's apologetic about it, but then he makes a very important statement there saying that he belonged to English. He doesn't simply talk about him, but the entire group, the entire generation of writers, that they belonged to English much before English became theirs. Now, doesn't it suggest a new paradigm about an Indian writer's relationship with English, a non-dichotomous paradigm? Because we have all heard about contemporary Indian writers talking about the relationship with English. I remember that fascinating chapter in A Suitable Boy, Vikram Seth's Suitable Boy, where Seth's alter ego, Amit, holds forth on his choice of English as the language. And he says that, that's an apologetic answer that he gives. If you have grown up playing tabla all your years, you cannot play the sarang. That's his answer. But I think Adiga's explanation points towards a new paradigm, a different paradigm. And since you are a very distinguished writer, and you have also in your writing talked about India, you have also talked about language mixtures, you have experimented with them. I'd like to know what is your take on this question. Thank you.
That's a very good question, really, and it's a very important question too, and it's a question that we all confront every day. I have not read Arvind Adiga's article. I have to say that, my views on this are actually completely different from any time I hear other Indian writers who write in English talking about this. I don't at all agree with Vikram's view or with Arvind Adiga's view, but that's because, unlike them, I did not grow up speaking English. I grew up in a very conservative Bengali family, and, there was a very great emphasis upon learning Bengali. And it so happened that my father was in a transferable job. It's a situation that all of us will recognize. And because I had to go to schools and so on, I had to learn English in these schools. So English for me was not, as it is for them, a natural language. It's an artificial language. It's a language that I associate with the schoolroom. And with the issue for me, as far as English is concerned, is that this tension, this question that you're posing, it can be regarded in two ways. And one of the ways in which it's regarded, I find with my contemporaries, is that it's regarded apologetically. That, we are just thrust into this and, so it happens, or that English was here before us, or whatever. For me, in a way, it's a different situation, I feel that this tension between Bengali and English that exists within me, and it's not just Bengali and English, it's Bengali, Hindi and English, and actually there are many other languages also which are part of this tension. I think this is my condition, this situation of tension, In general, this idea that we have of literature, that it arises out of an unproblematic acceptance of a language. That is, I've grown up Bengali, so I'll write in Bengali, or I've grown up as an Oriya, so I'll write in Oriya. I think this is a very limiting idea of language, I personally feel that this tension that exists with me, which is a tension that will perhaps never be resolved. So I can look upon this tension either as something which is destructive or something which is creative. you know, and for me, it is this tension which gives my work a certain urgency. It's the central and fundamental tension of my literary career, you know. How do I address this? How do I address the questions of translation that continuously arise for me, you know? It's not a moral issue, it's fundamentally a creative issue, you know, which I have to address every day in my work. So in that way, my existence as a writer of English is in no way similar to the existence of an English writer in English or an American writer in English who are monolingual in English, who do not have that knowledge of other languages, or for whom that other language is not a part of their essential psychological self or their literary self. So what can I say there? I think the reason why so many people around the world read Indian writers in English is because they can sense this tension. And this tension is no longer just a matter of India. It is a global situation. Because today it's the case that every writer who's writing, whether it be in German or French or Chinese or whatever, is in one way or another contending with this tension. So for us, this is not actually something new. The idea, in fact, that we should write only in the language that your mother spoke to you, that is also a limiting idea, I think, in some sense. You know, it's a very productive idea in some ways, to be familiar with it, to know the language of that, and to be, you know. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'll say that, you know, it's impossible. If you inhabit a literary world, the one thing you realize is that it's impossible to lay down rules for everyone. You know, because the world of literature is an infinitely varied literary world. I cannot tell another writer how to write or what they should write or, you know, where they should write or, you know. But it's in exploring these literary matters for yourself that you discover your vocation, you discover, you know, you discover what it is that you're doing.